free games are often marred with the stigma of either being awful or being pay to win. And that's mostly because a lot of them either are pay to win or awful or sometimes both at the same time. Because a double whammy is always better when you're trying to suck. But thankfully not all free games follow that trend, just a lot of them. And out of the games that don't follow that trend, here are the top 7 best free-to-play games that you can download right now from the internet and just go to town on them. Well, not go to town because you're not going to town to get them. I never got where the term going to town comes from. It's probably something filthy. It usually is. Regardless, these are games that won't try and make you pay through the nose so you'll have any sort of fun or have any chance of actually competing with everyone else if they're multiplayer games. These are games that can actually be played for free without that nagging feeling that, you know what, maybe I'm being used as a target practice for the players that buy lots of stuff, or I'm just being treated like some sort of giant money bag with eyes and feet and a mouth that says, "Help me!" That being said, let's get started with number 7, Pirates of the Burning Sea. It's been a while since I have last played this game, but for the most part it doesn't seem to have changed that much, apart from not using the SOE infrastructure anymore because there is no more SOE. Pirates of the Burning Sea is a game that puts you in the role of a pirate, a Spaniard, a Frenchman, or an Englishman, and I think there may have been Dutch in there somewhere, all with the objective of conquering the Caribbean. Well, not by yourself, for your faction, with your faction friends, and maybe allies from other factions. It has a really big PvP component. After all, it's a pirate game, you can get attacked by anyone anytime. Well, not actually anyone anytime, but in the areas with high unrest, things can get squirrely. So if it's a game focused a lot on PvP, it needs to be balanced. It must not let players with a lot of cash, as in real world cash, just dominate, and for the most part it doesn't. You do have a few limitations if you don't spend a dime on the game, namely your industrial infrastructure won't be that big compared to other players, but this is something that you can actually resolve by playing the game. What they did with Pirates of the Burning Sea was basically take the EVE Online model where you could buy Plex from other players to renew your monthly subscription. Only here it's Burning Sea's notes and it allows you to just buy anything from the item store. Now the game does allow you to buy ship blueprints and stuff that may offer you an advantage, but compared to other games it doesn't really offer you that much of an advantage. What does offer you an advantage in this game is having friends. Mostly because this tends to end up as a fleet battle game, though there is a lot of PvP that you can enjoy by yourself and it's actually quite fun. The sailing and sea combat mechanics are great and the land combat is, well, not awful, though I still wouldn't call it the best ever made in an MMO. Still, as free games go, it's quite fine and you won't have to spend any real money on it unless you really want to. It can be fun to just play for free. I had played it for several years, so unless they did something unspeakable to it lately, it should still be okay, I hope. I really hope. Number 6, Mech Warrior Online. I can just hear you saying it. How can you say that this game is good as a free-to-play when they release mechs that are only available if you buy one real money and they're all powerful? Oh my god, this is pay to win! Firstly, yes, when they release a new mech, it's only available for real money. That's how they fund the game. But those mechs aren't overpowered. How do I know this? Because I have repeatedly murdered new mechs with really small, tiny, itsy-bitsy, really old, free mechs. Well, free as in I paid in-game money for them. And you can do that because this game strives for balance. So even if there are new mechs introduced and you can buy them for a while, it's okay. They're not incredibly overpowered. You can get behind them and just fill them with missiles and lasers. Or just walk your hulking brute of an Atlas in front of them and just shoot everything. And then complain that, oh my god, Ghost Heat. Oh, the terror of Ghost Heat. How am I gonna win? Just play better. This game, honestly, is doing things quite fine now. At first, yeah, it was a bit rough when it came to the free-to-play aspect, mostly because it didn't give large enough rewards at the end of matches. I mean, I barely used to get around maybe 40,000 for a win back in the day. Now, for a win, I can get easily a few 100,000. Now, what does this mean in-game? It means I can buy just about every mech I want and equip it just the way I want. I don't feel that tug to just go to the item store, buy that mech with real money, and buy myself some fake money in-game so I can spend it on equipment on a brand new AC-20. It doesn't have that anymore. You can just play it because it's fun and progress in it because it's fun. And in the latest update, they even fixed community warfare. Namely, if you're not in a unit, you won't be matched up against people that are in a unit and will just stomp over you like, well, the clans did. Playing this for free is completely valid. You can do it without any problems. Heck, even if you want decorative items or paint, you can get that for free in the dozens of contests and events they hold every month. Well, they hold a few dozen of them every year, but basically every weekend they have something. You either get premium time, decorative items, paint jobs, heck, even free mechs. Number 5, Team Fortress 2. You're probably wondering, why is Team Fortress 2 so low in this list of the top 7 best free-to-play games? Well, that would be mostly because of the Man Cove store and its boxes. Now, when Counter-Strike lets you get new weapons from crates, you don't actually get new weapons, you get skins for weapons, but in this game, you actually get weapons. So yes, you can craft them if you already have a ton of weapons which you either get through drops, which are very rare and kind of ambiguous, or by opening crates. That's still a bit of a on the game's part. Honestly, in my opinion, this game would have still been better had it not gone free to play. And oh sure, maybe I couldn't find enough players to make a proper match on a Thursday morning before work. Well, actually when I was at work, but I was doing very, very boring work. But still, it had a better feel to it back then, and maybe it wouldn't have all these crates. Well, no, yeah, it would have all these crates because Valve does this with Counter-Strike as well. Still, the crates aren't that much of a problem because, as I said, you can get these weapons for free by random chance, and they don't really offer a direct advantage. They more or less offer you slightly alternative ways to play, a slight balance difference, but they don't fundamentally change the character you're playing. They don't make him automatically immune to damage, able to kill an entire team with one strike, or flat out better. It's still balanced. It's still good. It's also filled with kids that keep swearing, but hey, so is Counter-Strike. Which is why I should have probably disabled voice chat in this game after it went free to play. Yet still, this is a fun game to play for free. And if you paid for it back in the day, you got a really crappy hat. Like, really crappy! Like, oh my god, what's the crappy hat? They could have at least offered me a key for those crates or maybe a selection of hats. But no, they didn't. Number 4. Every free game on GOG. Now, these games are, for the most part, permanently free. They're not part of a limited promotion like the ones on Origin that are free for a period, and if you miss that period, you won't be able to get them for free. These are permanent, but most of all, they are some of the best games of their genre, like Ultima 4. Ultima 4 to this day is a fantastic game in terms of world, story, main idea, the way characters behave. Sure, it may look like crap and can be confusing as shit sometimes, but damn, man, this game was amazing. You've got the old Revolution games adventures like Lure the Temptress and Beneath a Steel Sky. There's the other Ultima games that people don't often remember where you went to other places in time and space like Mars. Yes, the Avatar at one time did get his ass to Mars. Now, there may not be a lot of free games permanently on GOG, but the ones that are certainly deserve to be played. Now, number 3, Dota 2. Now, if you're wondering why is Dota 2 here and not any other MOBA like League of Legends, Smite, or the other ones, the answer is very simple. You do not buy absolutely anything in this game that actually affects the game in any way. You don't buy runes, you don't buy champions, you don't buy shit. It's all free right from the beginning. The only thing you can do is get aesthetic items that are basically worthless, well, to the gameplay, because you can sell those and actually make money off the game. Yeah, it does have crates like Team Fortress, but again, you don't get anything that's actually useful, you don't get anything that will change the way your character plays in the slightest. This is what makes Dota 2 special. It is completely free. Completely. You don't have stuff to unlock, you don't have, well, anything. Just the core gameplay, just the core of Dota, which in itself was complex enough to not need progression systems to make it even more hard to understand, follow, and sometimes infuriating. I'm not actually that big of a fan of Dota 2, mostly because I played a lot of Dota in the old days. And not because I think the old Dota was better, no. It's because I think games like League of Legends and Smite and Heroes of the Storm do it better because they acknowledge the fact that, hey, maybe Dota was a bit too slow, complicated, and confusing for its own good. So why not cut the crap, trim the fat, and just make it fun? But still, as a free-to-play game, Dota 2 crushes all the other MOBAs. It stomps on them with its huge feet and then swears at them in Russian. Number 2, Dwarf Fortress. Now, there's two types of people. Sane ones and people that play Dwarf Fortress. Now, I'm not saying that people that play Dwarf Fortress are insane, but if you get into the game, after a while you start sort of building stuff that's, how shall I put this? Think about the most complicated thing you've seen in Minecraft. Well, someone did that already a bunch of years ago in Dwarf Fortress. Only doing it there was a lot more complicated, required a lot more planning, was more or less harder to do, and still it was probably easier than actually playing the game properly, as in making a colony of dwarves and extending it and understanding the full scope of the game. Dwarf Fortress is two things: completely free, no strings attached, and insanely complicated. This is a life simulator, if you will. It's a management game on a scale that's so grand that we're just to look at the number of types of doors that are in the game, you'd wonder, hey, well, why do I need so many door types? And if you keep playing, you'll understand. And then maybe you'll say to yourself, hey, maybe I could use a few more door types. Again, this is a game I couldn't really get into because I have a day job and a secondary job and hobbies, and Dwarf Fortress always seemed like a lot of work to get into. So I never really played much of it, apart from seeing how many door types there were. I think there were doors, maybe there was something else, but there were a lot of types of them for sure. Still, this game is completely free, which your time won't be if you actually start playing it. Number 1, and the best free-to-play game out there is Path of Exile. Now, I put Path of Exile so high on this list at the top because it would have been so easy, so damn profitable to just make it pay to win. After the Diablo 3 launch debacle, this game could have made bank. Grinding gear games could have just put in more microtransactions to give you power, to give you all the stuff you need to level up fast and quick and be powerful and strong, but they didn't. They kept their vision of the game, one that only allows you to buy stash space, which I haven't so far because they give you about 4 pages worth of it, which is about 6 to 7 times the amount of space Diablo 2 had in its stash, because the stash here is actually bigger, but the items aren't. And then you can buy cosmetic items like pets and wings and trails for your character and weapon skins, basically. Maybe you can buy character slots, but I haven't reached any sort of character slot limit so far. Though I mostly play Frost-based sorcerers that, to be fair, I started making that character before Frozen came out. I had no idea I was making an Elsa, but now whenever people see my character, they just go, oh look, you made an Elsa, they just can't let it go, for God's sake. But back to the matter of fact, you cannot buy power, you cannot buy advantage, you cannot buy anything that will actually help you progress through this game. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And again, it would have been so easy to add just one thing, and that thing would have made them a killer profit. But they didn't, and to this day, Path of Exile, the free-to-play game, has less microtransactions in it than Diablo 3 ever had. Because you remember Diablo 3 on release day, well, you remember the error messages on release day, but after that, you remember the real gold auction house around which the entire game was built and balanced. The one from which Blizzard profited, and so did gold farmers, and in general people that bought the game to make money off it. And they did. And Blizzard did. But the people that just played it to have fun were noticing stuff like, hey, this random magic item I just found in this place, well, on the auction house actually, has better stats than this super duper mega ultra unique legendary I just found after years of playing. Well, a year of playing. That's because that's how the game was built. To emphasize the auction house from which Blizzard got a cut. Path of Exile doesn't even have an auction house because it would encourage this type of behavior. It is a game built to be played first and foremost instead of being just a tool to exploit your player base by draining him dry of money and patience. And for that, Path of Exile honestly deserves everyone's respect. Well, that's it for the top 7 best free-to-play games out there. I would have liked to give a special mention to War Thunder and World of Tanks, but no. Oh my god, you can just tear through the opposition if you spend a few coins in those games. Like, you can just destroy people, obliterate them, which can be fun, unless you're the one being obliterated.
If you enjoyed this show, hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Or, if you thought it was horrible, then share it with your enemies and make them suffer. We shall be your weapon of vengeance. But if you liked what you saw, you could, I don't know, maybe donate, because basically YouTube is horrible at revenue, by using the link in the description, or just buy my book. It's a fantasy book about, well, a lot of stuff. I guarantee it won't suck, and if it does suck, you can find me here and complain about it.